We're both vibing with it. Welcome in to The Tradition Continues. And here's the thing. Bring it back in. I'm sorry that I kept everybody waiting on getting the first episode produced. It's one of those things where you go through the NFL draft. We really thought that we were going to have something to come of it, and we didn't. We were so mesmerized in what the draft was going to bring. We didn't care about a crowd watching us. We didn't care about what you guys needed. We didn't care about producing an episode. Sure, we went live, but we sucked. Now we're back with no notes. We're literally improvising this whole thing. And the funny thing is, I just said it this evening. I said, hey, Dad, we started a podcast, remember? Yeah. Do you want to go live? He said, sure. Well, I think you know who's in here with me. Yeah, Chuck Hartman.
What up?
The man, the myth, the legend. It is what? 8:47 on the Pacific Coast time. It is 11:47 on the East Coast, and we aren't tired here in the Midwest at 10:47 p.m. On this wonderful Thursday evening. Glad you could join us. And as you know who I am, I'm sure you know who I am. Why the hell would you not? Why would you be tuning in? I probably reached most of the people listening to this are probably friends of mine. So thank you for tuning in and being loyal and being a good friend. If you're not a friend and you're just popping on to listen to this podcast, dude, welcome aboard. Or woman, we don't discriminate, dude or dudette. Welcome into The Tradition Continues. This is a family-based podcast, but it's very unfiltered because, hey, what's a family-based podcast without a little bit of profanity? I'm going to stop talking. You know me. Chuck is over there. How's your night been? How's your Thursday? How's your week? How's your life?
Life's sort of slow right now with this quarantine deal. I like it that way, though, I guess. I'd rather nobody that I know or in my household has it. So my job, dealing with the public as much as I do every day, it'd be better off just to stay away for now.
Hold on one second. We got a lot to get into today. Okay, I thought that was a funny joke. I guess it wasn't a funny joke. All right. So last week, exactly 1 week ago from tonight, arguably one of the greatest times in the NFL football calendar was the 2020 NFL draft. It was very awkward. It was very awkward to watch it in the studio setting, considering the fact that it was going to be in Vegas and it wasn't in Vegas. That was just weird. Watching Roger Goodell from the comfort of his house, watching Roger Goodell, period.
I thought they did a great job.
I mean, yeah, sure, there was no glitches, but that's got to be so that's got to be so awkward for Roger, especially if he had a camera crew. I don't know if it was his wife filming or if it was a camera crew.
Pretty sure it was a crew.
Okay.
They were probably wearing masks.
Did they sleep in the basement?
I don't know. They couldn't have more than 10.
Don't worry, guys. We'll have breakfast in the morning for you. I don't even know how they get their cards. I guess that's all based off a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the cards. Whatever. It was a fun-filled NFL draft. And like we said, well, at least I said, I was going to give you guys a recap of what the NFL draft was. We're going to give our reaction today in this episode. So don't fast forward it and continue to listen because this is going to be a fun draft or fun podcast recapping the draft, I should say. So normally we have Aiden and Chuck here, but it's not the three amigos. It's the two amigos. One's MIA. So if he pops in.
My son decided to put curlers in his hair. He thinks it's funny to have a perm.
And here comes the unfiltered part.
So he can't fucking be on here tonight.
Yep, there it is. There it is. All right. Well, beyond that, so we get back into the NFL draft, Chuck. I'm going to reel you back in, and you can bicker and complain about old curler after the show. So we have a couple of awards and accolades we want to recognize each team with. I thought this would be a fun approach because if we just talked about, yeah, the draft was fun, it was cool, I like this and I hated this, we would sound like Bleacher Report, CBS Sports, and just about anybody else that gives out cliche draft grades. So why not switch it up and give the people some awards?
Sure.
Why not?
You got people or the teams?
The prospects and the teams, but, the listeners, I want to be able to, make it interesting.
A lot of them had good drafts. It's hard to pin them against each other.
You don't think that there's a distinct one that you could pull out from
There's a few that sucked. Several of them were about what you'd think they'd be, and there wasn't any that blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
They all had good drafts. I mean, it was just solid all the way around for most teams. There's a few of them that they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah. All across the board, here's the thing, dude. There were picks where I was like, for example, we're going to talk about Bradley and we're going to talk about Denzel Mims. Sure. Why the hell were those guys on the board as late as they were? I'm looking through my notes right here for this show, going down, looking at Bradley and Denzel Mims, pick 59.
Sure.
Bradley and 179. Guys like CeeDee Lamb in the first round fell to pick 16. No, 17. No, 16. 17. Sorry. Pick 17. Because A.J. Terrell went to the Falcons at 16. Nevertheless, it's like, why guys who, on many draft boards, found real estate in the top 50 for Anae. I don't know if he was above the top 80 in a lot of boards. I don't know where he ranked.
These teams know these players more than all the scouts out there, way more than me and you do, way more than any of the other mock drafters do. They talk to them. I mean, they'll smoke screen sometimes and be interested in them at the Senior Bowl or one of those places interest them. Mm-hmm. And they'll just smoke screen and never call them again, and because they don't want everybody knowing who they're taking.
So, going down this line, because we don't want to keep you waiting, we've already burnt 7 minutes, and we only get ourselves about, 30 to 50 minutes, depending on how we're feeling. So going down this list, we've got the awards we're going to be recognizing tonight in a very orderly, timely fashion. Most improved team from the NFL draft. Most disappointing draft class from each team. Pick a team. And you can pick multiple. I should say that you can pick multiple candidates. You don't have to designate this award or a particular award to anybody. It could be a 3-way tie. It could be a 2-way tie. It could be a 32-team tie. It doesn't matter. Steal of the draft. 3, I'll get into those. Almost said them. Going down, what are some other ones on here? Underrated Super Bowl contenders following the NFL draft. And we can also figure in free agency because now we're really getting into the workouts, the virtual workouts. And for prospects, we can look to evaluate, predict the most likely offensive rookie of the year and most likely defensive rookie of the year. And here's one. Would you rather, this is a toss up here. Would you rather select people that you think will make the Pro Bowl, or would you rather select somebody from this draft class that you think has the best chance of winning MVP?
MVP of the league?
Yeah.
I'd say go Pro Bowl, man.
Okay. All right.
You know how hard it is to win MVP?
Who was the last rookie to win MVP?
Heck, I don't remember.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to Google that. If somebody wants to comment on our YouTube page, because we're not live streaming right now. I'm sorry to break your heart. We're not live streaming, but on our YouTube page, if you want to comment the name of the last rookie in the NFL to win the MVP, let us know. Sorry, we're not that educated in the game. Okay, starting off with the very top of the list, most improved team. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of answers. Do you want me to start, or do you want to start first?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings. All across the board, you look at, from the start, Justin Jefferson, who a lot of people, Mel Kiper included, this kid, coming out of LSU, you could have made an argument that he could be a second day 2 guy. I don't think no later than a day 2 guy. But apparently Minnesota saw something. Apparently Minnesota needed something. Of course, that with trading Stephon Diggs for, the Buffalo Bills' entire house package, they had all that leverage. So it really started with that trade for Stephon Diggs and being able to acquire all those picks. So you had a lot of leeway moving and navigating up and down the board. So props to the Vikings and props to, Rick Spielman. Props to him. What I heard was his job was in jeopardy, and he was supposed to come out here in this draft. This was going to be do or die for him. But I look at this name, or the list of names that he's got. You got Justin Jefferson. You got names like Ezra Cleveland. I'm missing one out of the second round that I can't even think of right now. Cameron Dantzler, Troy Dye. Guys like that. Cameron Dantzler, Troy Dye, arguably top 5 in their positions. Justin Jefferson, a top 5 guy. Ezra Cleveland, a top 5 guy. Like, they were able to nab a top 5 guy in just about every single category that they needed. Specifically, I would say on the defense, they did better than on the offense, in my opinion. Because guys like Troy Dye and Cam Dantzler, I mean, I've heard the names more and more than I have Jefferson and Cleveland. But I think the Minnesota Vikings, man, hell, I'll put them down as one of the NFC contenders for the Super Bowl. I just think that they improved that much with those draft picks. They did a hell of a job with the stock that they got.
I love how we talked about this the other day and you stole my team.
Feel free to say them.
No, you took them. I had Minnesota. However, it's one of those things where you sort of have to have something to argue about. So I had to come up with a different team. And that team would be the Cowboys. They impressed me all the way around every round, even though they traded and they got all their picks in the first 5 rounds. But you get CeeDee Lamb falls to you at 17. You're welcome. Trevon Diggs in the second round. Neville Gallimore in the third round. Reggie Robinson in the 4th round. Tyler Badaz in the 5th round. And Bradley and I.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, Bradley and I, you introduced me to Mr. and I, and I really wanted the Broncos. I know. So biased.
I was pissed that they didn't take him.
Strand.
I'm still sort of pissed that they didn't take him because this other cat.
Strnad, I think.
Yeah.
Strnad, yeah. From Wake Forest.
He's going to have to impress me pretty quick.
I think you talked about it on Saturday when they selected him, primarily a tight end coverage linebacker.
I think he's better in coverage. I think he could play safety. I mean, he's a sideline-to-sideline thumper.
Yeah.
So, but he can play well in coverage. That's what he's known for, playing in coverage if he's not hurt. So, we'll see.
Yeah. Going down this list here, and again, this is on Minnesota's draft class. I'm going to go through at least the first maybe 7 picks here. And I mean, I'm just going to leave it off.
Okay, we'll do it this way.
What?
You tell me Minnesota's first round. I'll tell you Dallas's. Then we'll compare them.
Oh, so that's how we're going to do it. We're gonna.
Then you tell me their second. I'll tell you Dallas's, and we'll compare them.
Okay.
Sound good?
Let's do it all the way up to, do you want to go round 5?
Yeah, because that's when they stop drafting.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
All right, go.
Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU. Do you want CBS Sports' pathetic grade on that one?
I ain't worried about their grade, buddy.
Okay.
It's our personal opinion. It has nothing. I don't care what CBS ranked a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Ugh.
Go ahead. You'll have to speak into the microphone a little bit because some of your stuff is just tracking off.
Sorry.
There you go.
Let me lower this.
He's trying, folks. He's new.
The new old guy.
Bear with him.
All right. You
okay.
better?
Yeah, let's go.
So you took Jefferson?
Well, I didn't take Jefferson. I said Jefferson and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm keeping it objective here, man.
I know, dude. I'm saying that's who they took.
Yeah,
they only took 1 first-round pick?
Oh, they got Gladney at 31. Excuse me. They traded back. Yeah. No.
I like that round for him.
Yeah, they traded back in with the San Francisco 49ers, it looks like. I think that's who they traded back in with for Gladney. I think San Francisco actually traded that 31. Yeah, okay, yeah, it would have been them. Yeah. So, yeah, Gladney and Jefferson.
It's got some pretty good power.
Yeah. But CeeDee Lamb, dude.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I didn't even get to say the guy. You knew who it was. He fell to 17.
I mean, even
a guy that everybody said was going to be a top 10 pick fell to 17.
Even if you're Atlanta at that point, I mean, I get that they lost Mohamed Sanu to the Patriots maybe a little over a year ago. Do you sit there and you just like toss around the idea of being like, CeeDee Lamb? I mean,
I don't know, man.
He's just that kind of player, I feel.
Yeah. It's one of those things you got to think about. I mean, Dallas probably wasn't going in there looking for a receiver, but one was sitting there, so they took him. Wouldn't you?
The Cowboys?
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, you got Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper. Yeah. And then if you were top 10 in every single category in terms of offense.
Sure.
Including scoring. And if you bring in another target to spread the field, not only does it help Ezekiel Elliott, but I mean, you're maintaining your offensive performance, and you're probably getting over the hump of the every year wild card and every year 8-8 and 7-9. I feel like that CeeDee Lamb is that kind of player. And now you've got Michael Gallup, you got Amari Cooper, and then you've got CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott. How can you screw this up?
I don't know.
Dallas.
But you have to take that scoring deal into perspective as well. Their first 4 games were easy. That's where a majority of those points came from.
Yeah.
So
they were second in offensive passing, 5th in rushing, and then 11th in scoring.
Oh, I know. They're good.
Only team in the NFL of all 32 teams to score top 15 in each offensive category. Only team in the NFL to rank top 15 in every offensive and defensive category. So, pretty impressive.
Yeah. And you had a steal with CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, it gets better. Keep going down the line. Second round, what do we got?
Trevon Diggs, cornerback, Alabama.
Ezra Cleveland, offensive tackle, Boise State.
I think he could have went later.
You think he could have fallen to the...
Well, Josh Jones was still out there.
Yeah, true. Out of Houston. Isaiah Wilson, for some reason, goes to the Titans and the 29th pick, 29th pick with Tennessee. How is Cleveland not up there?
Yeah. I mean, I don't get what happened there, but that is a good pick. I mean, they needed an offensive tackle.
They graded that grade. Okay, so I know you don't care about the grades, but I just find it funny. So, going to Minnesota. Okay, yeah. They graded Gladney a B, and then for Cleveland an A- at the 58th overall pick.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that's a pretty good haul for the first 3 picks for the Vikings.
Sure.
I don't know if Minnesota had another second round pick, but we're already into 3 for Minnesota. Or Dallas, I should say.
Dallas picked up a great need.
At corner, yeah. You lose Byron Jones to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you get him at 51. Come on.
Is he gone?
I don't remember at that point. I think so.
I think they have Azubuike, the Colorado cornerback.
Yeah.
And then,
or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Awuzie, yeah, Azubuike. Awuzie, yes. Awuzie from Colorado, Azubuike. I'm thinking of Kansas basketball players right now. What in the world? All right. Yeah, it's 10:50, folks. Bear with me. 3rd round.
You're up.
Okay. I'll see your Dallas Cowboys and raise you a Cameron Dantzler, cornerback, Mississippi State. Again, they're emphasizing a point of need.
Sure.
Rhodes, you lose Rhodes. You lose Trey Waynes. A lot of your secondary has made its departure out the building. Now you get younger talent to come in. And defending the pass last year, I'm looking at Minnesota's ranking. Going down the list, offensive pass against the pass, they were 15th. Against the run, they were 13th. So, I don't know I don't know what the younger depth does
The
necessarily.
only issue with Dantzler is he needs to be able to put on about 15 to 20 pounds.
You think
and
he's
hold it.
undersized?
Yes. He's very skinny. He's long, but he's very small. If you're that rangy, they'll just move you around.
They graded that a B+ grade.
Mm-hmm.
So that was at 89 overall for the Minnesota Vikings. Round 3 for the Cowboys. Don't believe I heard your pick there, son.
Neville Gallimore.
God, the Canadian tank. Yeah. I freaking love Neville Gallimore. When I saw him, it was him, and then you look at Derek Brown, and I'm like, honestly, Neville Gallimore could make a case for being one of those late first pickups.
He just has to learn to keep his motor going.
Yes.
He's inconsistent.
He is.
He's a badass when he's on, but then he'll just like lay off. It's like, what the hell's wrong, dude?
He's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm trying to pull up his stats, you see, I can't multitask, but I think he was one of the more physical. I would definitely say he was one of the more physical and faster defensive tackles of this draft, just
When
by
he's
watching
on.
a couple of his tapes.
Yeah, when he's on.
I'm still looking here. I think Zerline gave him a 6.0, so a developmental prospect, developmental traits based prospect, giving him a comparison to Quentin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
So projected him as a round 2 pick.
Yeah, this is the 3rd round.
Yeah. So the Cowboys got him for a pretty good steal.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at Dallas, yeah, like I said, defending the run last year, they were 11th. So you address some need right there. You could be top 10. I mean,
sure. If he plays like he did.
that's a good pick.
Yeah, I like that one. They just loaded him, dude. Just doogie.
Some about sitting on a yacht, man.
Yeah.
It's probably something about sitting on a yacht.
Maybe
It could have something to do with
the
it.
tide was flowing.
Yeah. And that man had his girl holding his phone while he was making the pick. That's how rich he is.
And then this girl.
He's got women, his girls, holding his phone
Just
to make a phone call. That's how lazy Jerry Jones. That's how rich Jerry Jones has gotten. That is the dream right there. You got women holding your phone, holding your smoothies
Good luck with that, bud.
while you're sipping them on a yacht that costs more than, I mean, probably 4 of our houses put together, maybe 6.
It's up there.
It's a pretty pricey boat. You couldn't just settle for, a pontoon. You just had to go all out.
He didn't want his hair to blow.
Yeah, right? God. Anyway, round 4.
Reggie Robinson.
I didn't really look up Robinson. I didn't really come across Robinson. I wasn't really well informed in Reggie Robinson.
Cornerback from Tulsa. He
Okay.
moved up late, like later.
This is a guy that you talked about. Now that I remember it a little bit, what did you think
play
about him?
safety and corner, I believe.
So there's your versatility.
Yeah,
Do you think they see that Byron Jones factor in him, or was that more so with?
I think so. I think they see a little bit of Byron Jones in him when you can transition. I don't remember what his 40 time was.
Okay.
I want to say 4.4, somewhere in there.
Of those two, while I'm trying to look up stats, dime and nickel, where do you see Diggs playing at? Where do you see Robinson playing at?
I would have Robinson ahead of Diggs right now, just because Diggs is still learning the position. So he's raw. He has a higher upside. However, he's still trying to learn that position.
Yeah. Looking at Reggie Robinson's grade right now, prospect grade, he had a 5.8, ran a 4.44. So you were close, but he had the Wendy's meal deal as his 40 time. So 4.44, and this guy was a projection of 4th round. So I mean, right on the money, Zerline. Great job. At least you didn't give him a player comparison. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess they're still hauling at this point because there was 2 Tulsa prospects, I believe. There was a defensive end as well that came out, and those are the two I mean, those are the two main guys
Yeah.
for the University of Tulsa. All right, I'm going in so many directions right now.
Who
We're
was
in,
your 4th round pick?
yeah, right. DJ Wonnum, South Carolina, defensive end. Wonnum.
Woonham. I don't know a lot of tape on him. I watched a little bit, basically because I was doing a mock draft, and he was the next one up, but I was in the 7th round. So I don't know if they took that out of position.
Yeah.
Or if that's where they had him, because everything was different. Everybody's projections were different. I was using Matt Miller's board. I bounced around a little bit, used Draft Tech's board one or two times, but they were so different than everybody else's boards. So
Now, Wonnum was a 5.95 grade defensive end out of South Carolina. Once again, was compared to Lorenzo Maldin.
don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Was he like a 1-year wonder?
Was a permanent team captain. I'm not speaking on Lorenzo's behalf. I'm still reading Wonnum's. According to Zerline, this is kind of like his pros and cons. So strengths, I guess you consider this a strength. He was a permanent team captain his sophomore year.
Yeah, sure.
That's a great tangible, I guess. Strides up to rush turn with adequate burst, keeps the engine running as secondary rusher, and then quick outside-inside transitions with rush counter. Jump cut for expedited charge on twists, yada, yada, yada. I think they really wanted to up their defensive line because they got rid of Griffin. So they needed to find a replacement there. There's your replacement. I think it's a good, from what I'm seeing, yeah, it's not going to be Griffin right off the bat, but developmental. So C- was the grade according to CBS, and then for God, we're already at 27 minutes. 4th round pick 130, defensive tackle James Lynch, Baylor. I watched a little bit of stuff on this guy. I didn't watch too much.
2 of them in the 4th round.
Yeah, he did. 3 actually, because you get Troy Dye in the back half of it, and that was that pick.
Well, then you guys won the 4th round.
Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and call this one because we've still got some more words to get on.
No, that was the 4th round.
Oh, you just want to get to 5th.
Okay, who you got?
We got 2 5th round picks.
So do we.
Harrison Hand out of Temple, and then KJ Osborne, wide receiver out of Miami.
Okay, let me just end this with these two names.
Bradley and I.
Tyler Badegaz.
Biotic.
Yeah, that one. Biatch.
No.
I think that round goes to Dallas.
Yeah, Biotic was
a 3rd round pick. Should have been a nice same thing. 3rd round. They got him in the 5th.
Now, wasn't he up there with Cushenberry? Couldn't he have gone higher? 2nd round guy.
I've seen several people had him ranked ahead of Cushenberry.
Okay. Because before the draft, okay, yeah. I mean, before the draft.
Yeah, he had an injury deal or something. He was better his junior year, I think, than his last year.
And that was because Dallas's current center actually retired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of these back half from 4 to 5, I love Troy Dye. I have a bromance with Troy Dye. Here's the thing.
He did until I showed him some real linebackers.
Sideline to sideline, fast across. He covers the tight end. In the second level, a phenomenal. He's a little undersized. He doesn't have a lot of weight on him as an inside linebacker. Not as big as a lot of the inside linebacker class. Luke Wilson, maybe got a little bit more weight on him. Like if you had a scale of how these guys were size wise, Troy Dye would be on the lighter side. Like I feel like he was a little undersized.
Yeah. He was. He wasn't as fast as you thought he was either.
I thought he was impressive in a lot of the stuff that I watched, but then again, he did play in the Pac-12, so if that speaks for anything.
That helps, but I don't know. My favorite one played for App State, so.
With a lot of injury question marks.
Huh? My inside linebacker?
Yeah. Gaither Davis. Davis Gaither.
Injury question marks.
I thought there was a lot of injuries surrounding him.
No. Wrong guy.
Okay.
That dude's healthy.
Before this gets awkward, let's move on.
What's next?
Most disappointing draft class. Don't get too wound up here because I'm
fucking Packers, dude. What the hell were they thinking? Hey, Aaron Rodgers needs a receiver. Let's draft his backup quarterback in the first fucking round. Are you kidding me? My wife talked to me about that for 20 minutes. She didn't give a fuck who the Packers pick. But she talked to me for 20 minutes about this. Why in the world did they take a quarterback, Chuck? I have no clue. Maybe they're trying to redo the Favre thing. It ain't going to work. What do you think? Why are you not saying anything?
Kids at home, I want you to know something. Like I said before, this is a huge disclaimer. If you
that one frustrated the shit out of me.
If you accidentally fast forwarded to this part of the, assuming that my dad doesn't say anything, here, kids, I'm going to even do this. Hold on. Okay, so if you just accidentally, by chance, by the grace of God, fast forward to, listen, if you fast forwarded to this part of the conversation miraculously on your Apple Podcast stream, I just wanted you to know, go back to the previous episode and listen to the disclaimer I have about this podcast surrounding my dad and his filter. Okay?
TVMA rating.
Actually, there's an E on the end of podcasts like this. Okay. Oh, God, I'm going to get shot for a gang sign.
For explicit?
It says explicit, yes.
Well, put it up there.
It's going to be explicit. So there you go.
You act like you're this angel.
I'm not an angel.
Dude, if this were like a game or something and the Broncos were losing, my son would throw fucking chairs out the window. So, and then he'd cry. Then he'd be happy in the next play. And then he'd be very angry. I got angry, but not that angry.
All right, so going to Green Bay. Here's the deal. Not a receiver in sight as far as the rounds go. You go Jordan Love in the first round. There's your little fire to the old behind.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, step it up. There were trade rumors about this cat.
Yeah, I saw him.
What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' future as a cheesehead?
I think they're being stupid.
What if he goes to New England?
That'd be hilarious. I'd be pissed.
Would he be, do you think he'd have a good, like a great
I don't know
conclusion to his career?
I don't know how him and Belichick would work. I think he's a little bit more have fun than Brady, and I'm sure Brady was a have fun guy that nobody knows about.
He would have to assimilate.
However,
he would have to assimilate to the culture.
Right. I mean,
he'd be brainwashed.
I'm pretty sure he'd piss off Belichick.
Yeah.
So
this is like, there's a fence between, two schoolyards, and one has all uniforms on and they're all coordinated. And then here's all the other kids just playing on the playground, happy, not having to march into a, straight line and listen to their rude ass teacher.
Sure.
So yeah, that's basically the Patriots and all other 31 teams on the playground. So I think that anybody that goes into the Patriots have to unfortunately assimilate to that culture. And quite frankly, I do agree with you in the sense that Aaron Rodgers, I don't know how he'd mesh. Yeah. I'm sure that if he abided by the system, he'd be as successful.
How would that work?
Because he has the arm. He has the arm that Tom Brady, doesn't have. In terms of arm strength, I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers' arm any day of the week over Tom Brady.
Sure.
But that system was groomed around short passes. So I don't know how those two mesh in terms of Rodgers playing under Belichick. Anyway, that's a theory.
It has nothing to do with play style to me. It has more to do with personality. How would that work? If Bill doesn't have the control that he has, that's the downside to it. If he didn't have the control that he has, and let's say they go out and sign Aaron Rodgers, and they don't get along, like they're going back and forth, like, fuck you, Bill. And Bill's like, I'm going to kick you off of this team, blah, 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 but he can't. How's that work? What are they going to do? Fine him for not listening?
I don't know.
How does that work? Aaron Rodgers, what was he going to say? Dude, shut the fuck up. I make a lot more than you do, Bill. Shut up.
Discount double check yourself,
Yeah,
bitch.
You know what I mean? Come on. How's that going to work? Tom would never do that. Tom's just the cool, calm, collect, nice guy.
We've already made it 35 minutes and we're still on the same subject. I'm just going to say this. We're going through this list. Aaron Rodgers, if he did go to the Patriots, I mean, pipe dream for a lot of people, especially in fantasy football.
I'll kick you in the nuts.
Shut up. All right, second round, let's just go down the list of the Green Bay Packers, and I'm going to agree with you that this award goes to the Green Bay Packers. They really, you can say the F-bomb right now in 3, 2, 1.
I fucked it up.
Yeah, there you go. So Jordan Love out of Utah State, promising, reportedly this year's version of the next Patrick Mahomes. And then, of course, you give that accolade to Drew Lock last year. Wonder who the hell it's going to be next year. In the third round.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's the sophomore quarterbacks. They're going to win 3 years in a row.
At the MVP?
Yes.
Love the hot take.
That'd be funny.
Second round, pick number 62, running back A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. This was given
dude?
A C+ by CBS Sports.
Straight F.
F?
If you're going to pick up a damn running back, pick up one later. You got 2 now.
Could there have been a chance that they could have gone after Jordan Taylor? I'm looking at where Taylor fell. Because
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. The hometown.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I don't know if
Green Bay could have got him in the first if they wanted him. I don't think he would have got there in the second. I can't remember.
You think regardless they should have just went receiver?
They should have done something besides going with a running back that's going to split carries three ways if he plays.
Okay, going down the list. Excuse me. Josiah DeGuara, who actually Jimmy Graham went to sign with Chicago this offseason. So I guess there's your tight end. And DeGuara from Cincinnati. Kamal Martin, linebacker from Minnesota. And then that was in the fifth. They didn't have a pick in the fourth. In the sixth, you have 3 draft picks. Ooh, you hate that. The 666s, that's not good. You have offensive lineman John Runyon out of Michigan.
Not bad.
Okay. Jake Hansen, center out of Oregon.
He had a rough Senior Bowl.
And then offensive tackle, you had Simon Stepaniak out of Indiana.
Hey, can any of those guys catch the ball and run about a 4.40?
Maybe they can split out wide an offensive tackle and, put them on the line.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers still has nobody to throw to.
They're big into fullbacks, so maybe they can convert one.
They're gonna run the wishbone
with an offensive tackle.
They're gonna pass. No, they've got those 3 running backs. You had to get a running back in the second round instead of taking what you needed to take. So now you're gonna make his ass on the field at the same time you got your 2 best receivers, which is basically one guy, Devontae.
So at pick 236, round 7, they get Vernon Scott out of TCU, and then the last pick 242, they address the edge position and snag edge Jonathan Garvin from Miami.
I like that guy.
What do you think about him? Go ahead and speak on him.
He's quick. He's got a great first step. He will get off the ball. He is sort of lazy, though.
That was their highest graded pick, I believe. Actually, yeah, that was. It was the Garvin kid. Yeah. That was a B.
Maybe they should call me.
Pick prior was a B-. Real quick, just out of curiosity, I'm gonna look up what their wide receiver depth looks like right now. Because
this is great.
I know they have Equanimous St. Brown from Notre Dame, whose brothers, I think he's got like a bajillion of his Greek brothers that play at USC. I think he's got one. I can't remember where the other one plays. Hell, he might be in the NFL. But I'm going to look at their receiving depth right now. So Devontae Adams, you have Devin Funchess, Alan Lazard.
You've just named off a shit ton of all-pro players. Come on.
Hey, bear with me. Going through here. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. So Alan Lazard, Devontae Adams, Marquez Valdez Scantling. Well, Moving on to the next award.
It's the only team in the NFL in fantasy football that'll have one receiver taken.
Looks like nobody's going to be taking wide receivers from Green Bay this year in terms of fantasy.
That's all they got.
Poor man's going to see a lot of double coverage and three guys on him.
Still throw him the ball. He'll get the ball. Aaron's dropping dimes. Just the other guys suck.
Yeah, I agree. Steal of the draft class. I don't know if we kind of went over it. Do you want to go over that award?
Go ahead.
Steal of the draft? I'll give you two, and they belong to the same team. Bradley and I and CeeDee Lamb.
I wouldn't say he was a steal of the draft, CeeDee Lamb.
Bradley and I? We're on the same page.
I don't know, dude.
He's promising. Leighton Vander Esch. Of course, you bring Alden Smith, and then you have DeMarcus Lawrence. So 2 ex-convicts at defensive end.
So how much is he going to get a play?
How much is he going to get a play? Depends on which one gets charged first. He'll be put in as soon as one of those guys gets put into jail.
That's funny.
I mean,
I love Bradley and I, and there was a point in time where I thought if the right team drafted him,
Denver,
he would win the defensive rookie of the year. Like, I think he's that good.
What does he bring to that defense?
He's not fast, but he has some badass hands.
Did you have a player comparison for Bradley and I from previous drafts? What does he look like? Look like the most?
I did, and I've told you, and I can't remember who it was. So just remind me.
I'm trying to think. Did you tell me?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
Nevertheless, he did a hell of a job with Utah.
Yeah, dude, he's a stud.
If you would be as too kind to pull up his stats.
Take Palomala and put that fool.
Oh, because he's Samoan?
No, it's just the way they play, like their hair's on fire.
His hair was never on fire.
No shit. But it always looked like it was the way he's running around the damn field.
Head and Shoulders kept that man guarded.
It was late when they signed him.
I just think that you took a team that has so much promise. And granted, you were right. They have a pretty crappy schedule in terms of a lot of people in the league. But, Dallas, how do you F this up? Like, how do you screw up a draft class like this if there's the chance? Like, how is there even a chance that you screw this up?
Yeah.
I don't understand. All across the board, you did good. Thank you, Jerry Jones.
I don't know that they're the winners. I think whoever took Weaver was a winner. Edge rusher out of Boise State.
Curtis Weaver?
Yes.
I believe. Trying to think of where he went to.
Cushenberry, dude. It was a great pick in the 3rd round.
He should have went earlier.
I had been calling it the whole time. Every time I drafted, it seemed like he'd fall in the 3rd. However, everybody else that you hear from the outside is like, oh, this guy's not going to make it out of the 1st round, or he'll for sure go early in the 2nd round, and Elway just held his ground and got him in the 3rd round. Potentially the best center.
I'm going over his stats right now. I'm looking at Bradley and Nice. So it goes from freshman year. Of course, he only produced 2. And then his sophomore year, he had 7. Junior year, 8. 2019, 13 sacks.
Yeah. Dude, he plays like his hair's on fire.
30 solo tackles, 41 total. Passes defended 1. His most was 3 his junior year. Forced fumbles caused 1 this year, and then 2 last year, being 2018. Played with his hair on fire in the Senior Bowl. That was the guy. I think he had
crazy. 3
sacks in the Senior Bowl, I want to say.
Yeah, that's where I saw him for the first time.
And you fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dallas, you get my Steal of the Draft award. So there you go. And then most disappointing draft class, we agreed on.
Denver had 2 steals in the draft.
You would say Cushenberry, and you would say, if I knew you would say Jerry Jeudy.
Negative.
Jerry Jeudy falling to 15 when his stock could have been in top 10?
It's still a good pick. However,
You think Albert Okwuegbunam was a damn good pick.
It was. However, the guard.
Oh.
I can't
Fresno
say his name.
State's.
Yes, dude. I get it. The guy was hurt a lot. However, here's a pretty long highlight reel for a guard in college
He only
football.
played 5 games.
I get it. But I'm telling you, I heard a ton of people talk about this guy. I was watching whatever film I could find on him.
Netane Muti.
Yes. And he was throwing fools around like they were rag dolls. Like, get the hell out of here. Beat it. And he knows, he's like, I'm the best guy in this draft. So I'm sure he's going to come in with his hair on fire.
Yeah, he did suffer with a lot with injury.
Sure.
And the story that you brought up last week when we drafted him, I was like, first of all, I don't know how the hell to pronounce this guy's name. You either. But second of all, what's the background on this guy? And of course, you go to Google over here, and I was like, okay, what's this guy like? Well, apparently, according to Muti himself, he struggled a lot with enunciation and speaking English, so he got made fun of a lot. And the bullying, I guess, just lit a fire in him.
Made him beat people up.
He lit people up, yeah. So he's one of those guys that has those kind of intriguing stories.
44 reps at the combine.
The most of any offensive line. The most of
4 reps. And
Yeah,
if you watch it, it was almost like it was easy. So,
That's a strong dude.
yeah. He'll throw you around.
Yeah. I was going to mention one more name for steal of the draft, Denzel Mims. Why the hell did he fall at 59? I don't know.
They knew something.
If Sam Darnold doesn't get mono this year, and if, he's able to help,
They don't win the division.
it's a Brady free AFC East. Even I agree the Buffalo Bills are going to win this division.
There you go.
But they can make it competitive. They can make it competitive.
The whole thing's going to be competitive. It's not like they're going to run away with it.
No.
Buffalo has a decent chance of running away with it. However, just saying.
Miami can compete. They had a hell of a draft, too, with their 14 picks.
5,000 picks.
Austin Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa.
It took Austin a little out of place.
Yeah, 18. But, yeah, nevertheless, I think the AFC East is going to be one of the most competitive divisions, especially from this draft class. I agree 100%. But I think that, of course, with the departure, Robbie Anderson, Denzel Mims is a plug-and-play guy. And now you have Quincy Enunwa, who was a slouch last year, but in years past, like in 2016, had 837 yards. Couldn't tell you how many touchdowns. If I go here in my notes, it was 857, 4 touchdowns. But here's what their depth looks like. Keon Hatcher, Braxton Berrios, who was a guy I think we talked about in 2017, 18 is when he came out.
18, I think.
Yeah, 18. Of course, there's Enunwa. And then you get Brashad Perryman from the Bucks. So it's not like a, woo, knock your socks off kind of.
So it's where they were before?
Yeah, but Mims. I like Mims.
I do too.
I like his frame. I like how he plays. He's dangerous, an open field, big body.
Yeah, when we were doing the draft, I was saying, is Denver going to take Mims? Remember?
What would your reaction?
KJ Hamler. I was like, what the fuck?
And it not be Mims. Yeah, I agree. I think Mims would have been.
But then you read on Hamler and we're good. You just run that 4.27.
1,000 yards as a return,
make
man.
it a little faster. I don't know. They're saying that if he pans out like they think he will, he won't return as many because they don't want him to get hurt.
Okay.
But we have a ton of return people this year. It's sort of nice.
AFC West, beware.
Yeah, the whole AFC West got more competitive. That's why I thought it was funny you were talking about the AFC East. Who's the weakest team in the AFC West?
It's a good question.
It's a tough one, dude.
Because Oakland Las Vegas got better. Henry Ruggs. They got Meek Robertson from
Assholes.
La Tech. Yeah, screw you. You should have picked him. If you were going to pick somebody in the first round that was a cornerback and you're going to pick him out of place, at least pick somebody that's good. Amik Robertson is a damn good cornerback. Yes, sure, he went to a smaller school, but what did you say that changed my perspective on how Amik played? Like, the craziest player comp.
He's a Aqib Talib.
He's a Aqib Talib. Same number. Interception machine. I think it was 14 interceptions over the duration. What was it? The duration of his career? How many interceptions that kid have? Like,
a lot.
Yeah.
I can't even remember.
And you go draft who? I can't even remember. I can't even remember who you snagged. Was it a Clemson guy?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it was a Clemson corner because they've got everything else that's Clemson.
Yeah.
Got like 4 guys. Clelin Ferrell with the 3rd pick in the 2019 draft.
I'm trying to find something.
Trying to think of their wide receiver. I'm trying to think of his name. Hunter. God, what's his name? Oh my God, played at Clemson as well. Really great receiver. Little white stud. I can't think. Renfro. Hunter Renfro. That's it.
It's Renfro.
Renfro. Whatever. All I do is Ren. Okay, besides the Raiders stealing our thunder, underrated Super Bowl contender based off of free agency and the NFL draft.
The Denver Broncos. And I don't go at that lightly. You can say what you want. A lot of people that watch this and be like, oh, you're just a homer.
I want you to stare at that camera right there and say, I am not subjective.
I will fucking tell you right now that going in the last 2 years, I said Denver wouldn't even make the playoffs. He'll tell you that as well.
It's true.
So this year, for me to see what they've got and have the potential of, yes, I'm going to say they could be a sleeper Super Bowl contender.
See, I was going to be more objective, guys. I said Tampa Bay because of the Gronkowski trade. They got a really great Minnesota wide receiver.
Sleeper, dude. Everybody can see that and go, well, goddamn, there's probably a Super Bowl contender right there.
And I say,
Jesus Christ, you have 2 of the best receivers in the NFL. Then let's add Gronkowski. And Tom Brady. And you still have OJ. I mean, you're running a 2 tight end set.
They got the Minnesota kid, too.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Don't look at that. Oh, that's a sleeper. No.
However, they don't have a defense.
It's irrelevant, dude. It's a scoring league right now, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, my second contender, my sleeper, and I don't know if you'd call this a sleeper. Maybe I'm 0 for 2 with my dad right now, but Minnesota. I think Minnesota had a hell of a draft class.
That's a little bit better of a sleeper, yes.
I think they had a really good draft class, and I think that, you know, when you have the veteran leadership of Kirk Cousins, granted, he's not per se the best quarterback when it comes to postseason play. I still think that
they can win their division.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what if it comes down to
the competitions would be Green Bay.
So what if it comes down to a controversial call in a playoff game against the New Orleans Saints?
It happens.
3 years in a row, man. I'm putting money on it. I wonder if Vegas has a bet this year. If they don't, I hope somebody from Vegas listens to this podcast and puts that in there. Mm-hmm. It'll come down to them in the NFC Championship. Not San Francisco. Sorry, Brandon. But I think Minnesota and New Orleans in the NFC Championship. I say that, and I said Tampa Bay is an underrated Super Bowl contender. I think Minnesota and New Orleans are, when it's all said and done, I think they own real estate in the top 2 seeds.
So you just overlooked Dallas?
Shit. Okay.
And remember, the
NFC's competitive.
There's 7 teams from each conference now.
Yeah.
So for all of you who are like, oh my God, he's a homer. Seat 7 in the AFC, Denver should have a shot at it.
And I'm going to tell you this specifically.
And then it's a whole new season.
Specifically to Kansas City Chiefs fans. Now, granted, I did not live through the era, but my dad sure shed light on it. Denver, when they won the Super Bowl in 1997, wasn't it? They were not a top seed. They were a 6, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
they knocked out the Steelers.
Yes.
And then they turned around the next week and knocked out the Chiefs.
Payback's
been the other way around.
Payback is
they beat them both.
Payback is a
biatch.
Yep. I mean, I would not catch Z's on the Broncos, as the kids say.
That was the best part ever. So after that Super Bowl, I listened to that Super Bowl on ship when I was in the Marines.
Yeah.
So I was in Iraq listening to that shit.
If you couldn't tell by his shirt.
Then the next year I get to see it. You know, I'm out of the Marines and watching it at home.
Uh-huh.
So it was pretty cool.
I mean, that's honestly some, how you say, G shit, to be able to be on a ship. And then, you know, of course, the circumstances weren't good because you were discharged.
That's all right.
But you still got to see your team win a Super Bowl stateside. That's pretty bad. And California, of all places, because you were stationed at Pendleton. So that's nice. Wasn't that Super Bowl in San Diego, right?
I don't remember.
I want to say one of them was at least in San Diego. Might have been the Falcons, might have been... No, that was South. I want to say that was in Florida. I could be wrong.
No, they played... I'm talking about when they played the Packers, the first one.
Yeah, and then the Falcons the next year. Okay. All right, we're getting too wrapped up in Denver, and we've only got like maybe 5-6 minutes. All right. Most likely, and this real quick, most likely to win Offensive Rookie of the Year from this draft class, and most likely to win Defensive Rookie of the Year from this draft class. Go ahead, Chuck.
You tell me yours. I got to think.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. I hate that I'm going to say this because I'm going to get so much backlash for it. If we have an NFL season, Jerry freaking Jeudy will be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Put it on paper. I'll take it to the bank. I think Jerry Jeudy. And now you got to remember, these guys were the 28th ranked passing offense last year. Let me make sure my stats are right before I don't sound like crap. 28th passing. That's just because they had Cortland Sutton, part-time Deshaun Hamilton, and Noah Fant on occasions. Now you have Pat Shurmur, who runs the bunch sets. You run with the 2 tight ends. You're spreading the field. You bring in KJ Hamler in the second round. I did not see the double dip coming by John Elway. But Jerry Jeudy, man, you got him for an effing steal. A steal. This guy, according to Matt Miller in Bleacher Report, not only was Jerry Jeudy the number 1 guy going into 2020's draft class, according to his big board, but Albert Okwuegbunam was the number 1 tight end going into 2020 on his big board. And Denver got Albert O in the 4th at pick 118, who ran a 4.49.
Hey,
that hadn't been
teach
done.
people how to say his name.
Albert Okwuegbunam. I'm going to have the little Ebonics at the bottom of the screen with the little bouncy ball that jumps on the words. So it's going to happen.
Y'all better learn it.
Albert Okwuegbunam. Okay? Albert Okwuegbunam. Okwuegbunam.
What was that?
I'm just... Somebody play me some Trey Wingo footage of him saying Okwuegbunam and then Akawukabandabe. That's not how you say it. You can say Albert O. That's legal. But if you want to say his name, don't butcher it. Call it like it is, Albert Okwuegbunam. Put some respect on his name. And here's the thing. If you're talking about any Bronco of any draft class that was this year, Denver had the most complex names. Stranad, you want to say Strand. Like, why the hell did you mix N and A up?
Cushenberry.
I'd like to buy a vowel. More Kush, please. Agim, a McTelvin Agim from Arkansas. Ojemudier. Mm-hmm. We just have a hankering for weird names.
Fresno State.
Yeah.
Matai. Is it Natane?
Natane Muti.
Yeah, something like that. Natane
Muti. Hey, that's all right. We'll take you.
Yeah,
the only guy that was like not even a part of it.
Hold on, it gets better. Because you got Zamari Manning.
Yeah.
Just look that guy up.
Zamari Manning is a pretty...
He could somehow sneak up there and get some of these guys. Look it up.
That's another scary Manning.
Yeah.
I hope he wears number 18.
Then you got...
Kidding.
They were talking about it. I heard a little rumor about it.
Him wearing 18?
Yes.
Holy crap. That'd be funny.
They got another receiver, Kendall Hinton.
Tyree Cleveland. There's a normal name.
Here's another one that you can watch. And I thought this one was funny.
Yeah.
Levante Bellamy is a stud running back.
Why have I heard the name Bellamy?
You're thinking of Bieniemy.
Always.
Bellamy played for Western Michigan, but he's a stud. Like, quick, fast. And then I was thinking about it. So, how do they balance this running back room that we have now? So, you've got Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say that Royce Freeman is sort of similar in some ways.
Yeah.
Then you got Philip Lindsay.
Mm.
And this Levante Bellamy is just like him.
Played for the Broncos, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Western Michigan?
So you have the backup for the
Kentucky? Is it?
Western Michigan.
Michigan. God, I'm so stupid. God, I'm dumb.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
It's Michigan.
But they're similar players. Both sets. Think about that.
You got to speak into the mic, honey bunch.
They're similar players, both sets.
Both sets.
Bellamy and Lindsay.
Yeah.
And then you've got Gordon and Royce Freeman. Gordon goes down, you got Royce Freeman. Lindsay goes down, you got Bellamy.
Unfortunately, how Shermer's offense, they're going to utilize both.
I get it. That's what I'm saying. One of them goes down, you've got their replacement. They're the exact same players.
Okay, again, we went on a tangent. So, back to Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Anyway.
I said Judy. Court's in session. No pun intended.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. Offense and defense, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. Defense.
Let me do my offense while you're thinking about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
KJ Hamler. Surprise. He's going to have a hell of a year after the catch and probably average 19 to 25 yards per reception.
Okay, so again, the title page on Apple Podcasts is blue and orange. So you just had to see something coming.
Hey, I'm just telling you how I feel.
And
I don't think Burrow's going to do it. Burrow's got a horrible team to play with. Come on.
Where's your receiver?
What's that? They can give it to a lineman? Nope. So, CeeDee Lamb,
yeah.
I think all he's going to do is open up a lot more for Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jeudy's going to be great, but I'm just telling you, I think that this guy's going to be 19 to 25 yards per catch. Just a feeling.
I think he's going to be a dangerous returner. He said himself.
He's going to play receiver.
He said himself. He was like, "I'm the next Deshaun Jackson. That's the best comparison to me." That is exactly what he said, and I was like, "Damn, that's some pretty." And you hear the cliche.
That's a faster Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, Alex, who's on Broncos Brawl with me, make sure you check out Broncos Brawl. This is not a promotion, but you need to check it out. Byron Chamberlain, former tight end for the Denver Broncos, on the podcast with me, as well as Alex Valdez.
How lucky is this guy? He gets to work with Byron Chamberlain and then me.
I know, twofer, right? Check that out. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, wherever you get your podcast. Nevertheless, Alex told me on the pod, he was like, yeah, Hamler, every single year you get Deshaun Jackson, Tavon Austin, and like a bunch of these small, skinny dudes that are really fast, and they get the same cliche comparisons. And it just so happened that KJ Hamler gets the luck of the draw, and he's the only guy in this draft class that's getting compared to both Tavon Austin and Deshaun Jackson. And it's like, I mean, you can't dispute it because everybody's on the same page. And you heard about John Elway's interview with Peter King, right? You heard about how they timed his 40?
Yeah.
They said, oh, yeah, well, we did 40-yard intervals during a Michigan game, which just so happened to be his best game of the year last year.
But that 4.27 is not that time. The time that he ran when they were doing it while he was running was a 3.92.
That was where I was going with that. It was a 3.93.
Making sure because a lot of people are like,
yeah. No, same page. I agree. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Kinlaw.
Javon Kinlaw. All people.
Yeah. He's just in a good situation.
Uh-huh.
He's going to destroy some people.
You ready for this?
Deal. Sure.
This guy was overlooked. You let him slip, boys. And granted, he's got a crappy defensive coordinator, but he's going to make that man look good. Isaiah Mother-sucking Simmons. That man is going to play everything for the Cardinals. Everything. Safety, corner, maybe some reps at wide receiver, inside linebacker, defensive end. Play the whole field, kid. Play the whole field. I mean, you got a grab bag of coaches that are disgraces. Vance Joseph, Cliff Kingsbury. You have a nice couch house, both of them. You have a really nice
couch house.
Yeah, couch house. That's a damn nice house for a guy who really hasn't proven much. It's true.
College contracts are bigger.
Well, stick with college. Why are you here?
Because he got fired from Texas Tech.
Then really, why are you here? No, I think Isaiah Simmons, man, he impressed me so much, not only during the college football playoff, but he was being argued toward the end of the college football playoff as the best. And plus he's from like maybe 4 hours away. That way. Where's Kansas? Never eat soggy waffles.
That way.
West side. He is that way. Olathe, Kansas. So he's not that far away from where I'm at. Maybe a little bit. But nevertheless, I think Isaiah Simmons is going to be the baddest mofo in this draft class.
Where are they going to play him?
Take your pick. Where do you need him played?
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's the hard part about it. Where are they going to play him?
I think there's another guy that we're overlooking that we overlooked in the draft too, and I think has a lot of promise as well. Granted, he went to a small school, but I think you know where I'm going with this.
Go ahead.
Kyle Duggar. You don't like the boy from
If you're going to go safety, Ryan? I'm taking Jeremy Chin.
You got to go with the Bronco-related guy.
Oh, my God, dude. Are you serious?
That's right Atwater's nephew. I can't overlook him. I agree. I mean, like,
You're stupid.
Chin's good. Chin's good. But I think that going back to the Senior Bowl, he was like from the smallest school of anybody there at the Reese's Senior Bowl. He was overlooked really by all the safeties because Jeremy Chin started to get talked about. Did he go in the second or third round?
Second. I believe. I don't remember.
Lenore Ryan? Where the hell is Lenore Ryan? Isn't it like Rhode Island? Connecticut? Somewhere in the Northeast.
Up there.
Nevertheless, man, I think it's just a shot in the dark, really, is what it is. But yeah, Isaiah Simmons. That's where I cap that off.
Yeah.
I don't know where else to go with this, man. I think
Stick with Kinlaw.
You think of Javon?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is.
What about later picks? Those are like top 15.
Oh, you mean undrafted guys that you think will be successful?
There's some. Denver got a couple of them. Douglas Coleman III. He's a stud. Did you watch it?
The Coleman kid's from Texas Tech, right?
Yes. Did you not watch his highlight reel?
Led the FBS in interceptions.
Mm-hmm. How do you do that and not get drafted? Come on.
I don't know, man.
Zamari Manning led the entire FBS in touchdowns, not just receivers. He led it all the way up for a while. He's at 22 touchdowns.
See, even
the
on
closest receiver at that time had 13.
On auto draft, see, John Elway doesn't take no shit.
Yeah, I guess.
Saban's coming at you. Well, I think that's all you can cover for a first episode. That was a damn good first episode for just improving.
Sure.
Don't say sure.
Hey, do you think that they sign any more free agents? And if so, who?
Prince Amukamara.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why not?
I like him, but I don't know, man.
At corner, at this point, who would you take?
I'd love to take Eli Apple just because of his age and hope that Vic can fix him.
Huh.
Denard.
Darqueze Denard.
Not bad. I mean, what do you do?
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait until the next episode.
You take a chance on Alec Ogletree.
Oh my God. Dad, we're at an hour and 2 minutes.
So?
We had a damn good conversation.
Yeah. So why Why would they not take Ogletree?
It's a good question. We'll have to save it for next week.
How about Ryan?
Oh, my God.
Logan Ryan?
Sure.
Maybe?
I don't know I think he's gone.
I
don't know. Maybe. I think there was interest last I checked from some teams. Nevertheless. Well, I guess the only thing to do here is bring in the outro music. Wait for it. You've been listening to The Tradition Continues right here on wherever you're getting your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Make sure next week we will be right back here for Keegan Hartman and
Chuck.
He's going to work on it, folks. Thanks for tuning in for The Tradition Continues. We'll see you next week.